everybody, welcome back to Tea Time with Aloha and Coco. I'm Vicky. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below to be part of the Tea Time family. On today's episode of Tea Time with Aloha and Coco, I'm going to take everyday Christmas items and turn them shabby chic, vintage, retro. Yeah, I'm going to turn every Christmas item I touch into something from the past. I'm thinking shabby chic, Parisian cottage, retro. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So without further ado, let's get started. So our first craft is brightening up miniature trees. So I went to the Dollar Tree, picked up a couple of these packs of white trees, and with my paintbrush and some pink paint, I kind of patted on a couple of dots of pink paint at the tips of all of the trees' bristles, and look at that. It looks like the trees are illuminated with pink. Our next project was taking vintage pieces and modernizing them. That's right, very simple. I went to different places like OfferUp, eBay, Etsy, you name it, and I found a couple of pieces, this one being one of them. So I decided that the colors like the red and blueberries did not really match my style for Christmas, so using some pink paint, I just painted over all of the berries, and voila, the perfect little bunny to fit my Christmas aesthetic. Up next, I took items like these super cute trees and added an element of surprise. Picked up some pearls, glued them on, and voila, a brand new look. So this Christmas, I wanted to DIY my own art, and I did. So what I simply picked up some paper that had music notes on it. I put some Mod Podge on a canvas, added the paper on top because I wanted it to crinkle up and almost look very old and aged. Then I added another layer of Mod Podge, some faux snow on top, and look at that beauty, perfection. One of my favorite things to use for name tags on our gifts or even decorations around the house are ornaments. However, sometimes I find the perfect ornaments and the colors are a little bit off. So what do you do in those cases? Simple, you just redo them like I did here. What did I do? I basically took pink paint and I painted over anything that had red. After that, I went ahead and added some faux snow, and look at that, the perfect pink retro camper. I absolutely loved this look. After I fixed my little campers, I went ahead and dove into fixing these little trucks. Same thing, a little bit of pink paint, some faux snow, and I promise you it'll change up the look dramatically. Just take a look at this. Up next, I decided to take these absolutely beautiful Christmas trees and turn them up a notch. How did I do that? Very simple. I went ahead and I started by removing the fabric that it already came with. Very, very easy task. However, it's very important for you to find fabric that is going to fit your theme flawlessly because these pieces, for some reason, draw the eye. Using the old fabric, I cut new fabric just so that it fit perfectly. Up next, I took all of the trees and I went ahead and I reflocked them. Now, I know that they were flocked originally, but I really wanted to create a fresh snow feel. So I went ahead and I took all of the trees and did just that. And here you can actually tell the difference between the newly flocked and the old flocked. Up next, using these squares of fabric that I had cut previously, I went ahead and I wrapped it around the base of the little trees. Using some little strings, I went ahead and I attached it and made the knot extra tight. After, I went ahead with some satin ribbon and tied another loop over the existing brown ribbon because I wanted the pink to be the one that was showing. So after I did that, I tied a double knot, went ahead and cut the tips off to make sure that it wasn't really visible. And as you can see here, it came out perfect. And that is what all three of them looked like close to each other, and I was in love. After the fun began and I started adding little pink flowers, different sizes, different hues of pink, all over the little satin ribbon, and look at that, how absolutely beautiful. Up next, we are going to be making art a scene. What does that mean? Well, I picked up this little frame at the Dollar Tree and I decided to replace the actual wording with fabric. So once I did that, you can see that it changed the look dramatically. After, I picked up some little mini Christmas trees also from the Dollar Tree, and I went ahead and I flocked them all. After, on the base of the frame, I added some glue, I rubbed it with my finger so that I got an even coating, and then after went in with some faux snow and glitter, and I gently added as much as I possibly could to create the perfect amount of snow. Then with some Gorilla Glue or Loctite, you can go in and add little dots that would hold the little trees and the little bench in place. It took me one tiny little dot and those trees were not going anywhere. And lo and behold, look how perfect. Now, I'm still unsure of how I'm going to use this. I could place the person's name on the fabric and use it as a gift tag for a really special person's gift, or I can use it as decor in my home. Not quite sure yet, but I'm excited both ways. Our next project at hand, making retro shabby chic. So I wanted to bring these little deers to life by adding little touches of the shabby chic look I'm going for this Christmas. So I removed the red bows that they had. I played around with a ton of trim that I bought, everything from lace to satin to, well, you get the idea. So anyways, I started cutting, snipping here and there, adding pearls, flowers, and alas, I found the perfect combination of all of the things that I had purchased. And once I glued everything together, it was everything I'd hoped for and more. I topped the heads of my little deers with two pretty little pink bows, placed another bow around their collar, and that was all I had to do. They were finally finished, and I am in love with this transformation. The next project, we are going to remove and replace. I went ahead and I took this little decor piece from the Dollar Tree, and I started removing everything that was colorful or red tinsel. It did not go at all with my existing theme, so I thought, let's just replace and see how far I can go with this. I started the process by layering the bottom with pink satin ribbon, and then I went ahead and I put a little satin skirt trimming all the way up top of the ribbon so that if that lifted, you wouldn't see the little plastic bars. Later, I took the little wreath and I started wrapping satin ribbon around it, and then I hot glued some little white flowers so that it really gave it that vintage shabby chic style. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how my little camper turned out. I am in love with it. I'm also considering using this for someone special, putting it in front of their gift as a really nice little keepsake of this year's Christmas. Now this craft, this restoring vintage craft was by far the most difficult for me, hands down. So I went online and I actually wound up finding these cute little mice that stand at about 10 to 11 inches tall. Now, these are very, very old. They are around 60 to 70 years old, and I just had to get my hands on them until I saw them. As you can see, everything that was once white was now brown, yellow, and pretty nasty, as you can see. So what I do, I started cutting everything off because there was just no chance of being able to clean this. The dirt and the smell was well embedded into that fabric and there was no getting it out. But I was too invested and too in love with these little mice to give up on them. So here goes nothing. Time to cut and clean. Once the hat and coats were off, I was able to see what I had to work with. And as much as I tried, there was just too much old glue embedded within their heads, and it became almost impossible to remove. So I went in with a little burner and I started to remelt the once glue and I started to scrape off so that I can clean them further. Their eyes were also a mess. They were just drenched in dirt and old age, but like I said before, I was not giving up. And after much cleaning, look at how my little mice turned out. They were impeccable. I cleaned everything from their eyes. I polished their faces. My husband helped tremendously, and I was able to finally create a look I wanted. So then I started with the trimming. I started making skirts. I started sewing because I wanted them to fit the theme just as every other piece that I had worked on did. Here are my cute little mice with a 3-layered skirt and a little bow in the back. Absolutely in love. Up next, creating shabby chic display books and little cases. I wanted to find places that I can store a lot of the things that I need, like pens or clips, just fun little things and fun ways to hide them. So I picked up these cardboard books from Hobby Lobby, started painting, designing, adding trim, and I just went nuts with it. And at the end, they just turned out so magical. And that's the fun part. Start creating and see where the creativity leads you. And voila, these are my shabby chic books. Up next, we have add some paint, then decorate. I ended up finding this little birdhouse on OfferUp, and I decided to give it a little bit of the shabby chic style. So I painted the roof, painted the entire house railing, added some glitter and some trees, and after I added all of those little touches, it looked like the perfect little Christmas cottage house, and I was madly in love. The last things I'm going to do is change colors for some berries. So these berries were very easy to find everywhere, but I just couldn't find the color I was looking for. So I repainted them, flocked them with snow, and look at how they turned out. I hope you guys liked my crafting ideas, how to take everyday items and turn them into something more fantastic and fabulous. I hope that you guys can share with me as well. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at teatimewithaloha&coco. I'd be so happy to have you over there. Don't forget to click like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification tab to get alerted every time I put up a new video. And of course, follow us on Instagram at teatimewithaloha&coco. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and happy holidays. See you in our next video.